Afternoon, everybody. How's everybody doing? All good? Let me know you can hear me okay. Hope you've all had good, productive mornings. Really nice movements on the US dollar this morning. Nice, strong push in London, as you can see on the chart. Good ADR hits today as well. Lots lighting up on the dashboards. So got some good market movement. Very nice to see, finally, getting some action. Still not quite got anywhere yet, but it's US dollar's thinking about going somewhere. If not anywhere, back up to the highs. At least we know it's going somewhere. Okay, so this afternoon, as usual, going to have a look through the ADRs, have a look through the RSI extensions, have a look at where we are, and then obviously wait for the market open 2:30, and hopefully do a bit of S&P trading. More ADRs getting hit. We'll go through those first of all in a second. But yeah, so main mover of today has been US dollar. Euro's dropped quite a bit on a lot of pairs as well. Euro Swissy, the only one I'm in, as usual. Euro Swissy is the only one that hasn't come down. Got a decent Swiss franc weakness, as you can see. Swissy's really, really weak at the moment. And that, coupled with obviously the euro, is just giving it a good push. The euro's able to beat the Swissy, one of the only things it's able to beat at the moment. So still waiting on some Swissy strength. As soon as that comes in, this will come tumbling back down. So just a waiting game on that. But I'll be able to get into another position on this one at some point. It's going to be tight. Might get into another position, but we'll see. So US dollar, main story of the day. US dollar, big, strong push. So we had a good Asian session, and this was the support area on the US dollar, around there. So that's previous support turn resistance, although this is more of a kind of little inspection to the downside. But we have broken very nicely to the downside and smashed straight back up through this level of resistance. So potentially US dollar now heading back up to the highs, but we're still within this range, still stuck sideways. So until we get a break of this range, either breaking out to the upside over here or breaking down below this area, we've still got no directional bias on the US dollar. So still sideways. So playing range bound until it gives us an indication of the other, of anything else. So potentially looking for breaks to the upside on it, but as I say, no movement as such in either direction. So we'll see what we can get this week. Hopefully we can get a few good strong days of push. As you can see on the daily, we're just it's choppy as hell at the minute. If we get a nice bullish engulfing today, it might be the start of a move towards these highs. So but at the moment, support rectangles holding on the daily. We're in the 72.24 zone, or we were, which is a good area for buying if we were trending. So yeah, looking good for longs on that. ADRs, quite a few ADR hits today. So we'll have a quick look through those. Let's go that so we can see what we're doing. Aussie dollar Swiss. Obviously, this one's gone further through 125. And it's not quite up to the 150 level yet. So we've got this nice gap. Oh, you're not expanding. We've got this nice gap up here, which we're heading up to at the moment, which is where this initial selling move started last Wednesday. So we are tapping into an area of potential selling pressure, which could well act very nice and resistive. On the hourly chart, we've kind of butted up into it today, and we've backed out of it and put in a new high. So potentially here we're putting in an M formation for a potential drop. So Aussie obviously has had a really good strong Asian session, as I said this morning, and we've tried to continue it in London, but as you can see, we haven't really got very far. We've managed to put in sort of 10 pip move, so quarter of an ADR is really all we've managed to get out of it, and it is looking fairly heavy. So this one looks like a pretty nice short to me at the moment. There's some nice selling areas that we're getting up to. We're massively extended on the RSI, so looks like a really good short opportunity. Aussie dollar Swiss, again, no real directional bias on it. So could go either way, but as initial starting position, this is getting up to a nice area at the moment. Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar, same sort of story. 125 ADR hit now on that one. This area of selling pressure that we tapped into today didn't hold, so we have cracked through that now. So looking above at where this is potentially going, we've got this high from yesterday. So potentially we're pushing up for a stop hunt and liquidity run of those highs. And we've got the highs from last week's. This is last week's high here from Wednesday. So if this one continues to push further up to the 150 area, that'd be a nice looking short entry as well. Assuming that obviously after this move and consolidation, we're going to need to do a profit takedown. So Aussie dollar and New Zealand dollar also looks like a nice short. They're not quite up to a level where you would expect to get some kind of reaction. It doesn't mean that they're not just going to turn where they are. Obviously they do quite often, but the fact that we've broken through this selling pressure here and kind of retested it twice, got into it, rejected, pushed up into it again, took out the highs, got a little bit of a rejection, and now clearly broken above. I would say we're definitely going to there or just above. So probably a little bit more movement to the upside on that one this afternoon. If we get the movement, obviously being an Aussie, New Zealand, both Australasian pairs, we may not get much movement at all during the New York session, but we'll see how we go. CAD Swiss, good break to the high, 125 ADR. Again, all these putting in slightly higher highs at the moment, potential M pattern formations, so looking for reversal alerts on those. If you look at this on the 5 minute, this is now looking pretty tasty for a drop, but levels wise, there's nothing really anywhere near at the moment, so it's a difficult one this to call. There's no news on the CAD at all at the moment. This would be the level that I would expect to get up to, but we are so extended. Look at it on the 4 hourly. We are shot. So this is well overdue a drop, but mainly based off the Swiss franc. The Swiss franc is massively weak at the moment. As you know, I'm already in a Swissy short. So I think if we can get up to there, I'd be jumping all over that as a short, because it's going to be absolutely exhausted. By the time it gets up to there, same move as this really, basically. Look, same move as this. Big strong push, and then continuation down move. Obviously the difference we've got now is that we've broken back above the 72 moving average. So potentially, if you look at market structure, we've got a high, low, lower high, lower low. If it turns anywhere around here, I would still class that as selling market structure. So I still think we're looking for shorts on it, and the fact that we're so exhausted on the 4 hourly, it looks like a really good short now. So CAD Swiss, very good. We've got an ADR hit, hourly is extended, 4 hourly extended, M15 was extended and is putting in an M pattern reversal potentially. So yeah, looking really good, that CAD Swiss. We'll see that on the hourly and the 4 hourly RSIs in a minute as well. So yeah, really good looking opportunity there. We're just about to tap into 125 ADR as well, so it's getting even more extended. Swiss yen, opposite, extended to the downside. If you look at the yens today, really good strong yen. So the yen is smashing it, as you would expect, because we've had a strong US dollar. So this is what I mean when I allude to the fact that when the US dollar powers up, the yen powers up with it. So you find that everything crossed with yen starts to come down when the US dollar gathers strength, and that is quite typical. So all these yens that have hit are off the back of this US dollar strength, and with these yens we are massively extended. We've been looking at the pound yen as one of the opportunities to trade as shorts, and obviously you can see this is just starting to kick in now. So market structure has definitely shifted on this one. We've got the reversal alert here, okay, and now we've put in a lower high, and we're heading down to a lower low. So we've got to crack this wick here to get down for a new lower low. As soon as we've done that, market structure is confirmed, and we should hopefully see this now starting to sell off. So same across all of these yens. Go yen, about time. We've been waiting for some yen strength for an absolute age. Started before Christmas, this squeeze. And yeah, we've been waiting for it to roll over. And as I said, when it does come down, quite often you get the elevator shaft effect where it starts to come down like that. Yeah, so we climb up the stairs, and the stairs have been pretty steep, to be fair. But we come down the elevator shaft twice as fast. So yeah, looking good for these yens. So if you're already on them, you're in a position now where you could start to scale out some profits, but I'd hold them as much as you can. It's a good chance these are going to come down fairly hard. So from an ADR perspective, any of these that have hit ADR lows, I personally wouldn't be looking to long them. This is the move that we've been waiting for, the yen strength. So so the Swiss yen obviously extended to the downside. Long may it continue. But I'm wanting Swissy strength. So but this is kind of a bit of an anomaly, the Swiss and the yen. We've got the yen powering up at the same time as the Swissy's weakening, which is obviously making this come down faster than everything else at the moment. EuroCAD. EuroCAD just tapped the low, bangs straight off of 100 ADR. Reversal alert, beautiful pullback. Also got a retest. This is absolute textbook ADR reversal. So yeah, that's already played out. Although I wouldn't take a euro long. I'm short the euro. So this was a sort of counter trend reversal if you took it, but you had sort of third of an ADR today on that one. Euro yen, again, yen's hit to the downside, probably going to carry on coming down, especially euro yen. Euro being as weak as it is, as soon as that powers up, obviously, yeah, we're looking for shorts on it. We were looking for shorts from here. And obviously, this is the profit take on the moves if you got into them there. So euro yen, I wouldn't look at longs on that one. Euro US dollar, same thing. US dollar strength hammering down the euro because the euro's got no strength whatsoever. So again, not longing the euro against the US dollar. Pound Swiss. Pound Swiss looks really, really good for a short. I really, really like this one. We are, you can see, obviously, I'm going to need to extend the fib on this. Probably going to get up to there, aren't we? So I'm going to call it there as a high. As soon as we get up to there, we should see some kind of reaction starting. I said about this one yesterday, the only thing I don't like about this one is the fact that it's been so orderly getting to where it is. I like to see a big, strong push with hardly any pullbacks or profit take moves, and then you get that big, big pullback. This one's been pretty orderly, but it is very, very extended. This is the sort of move that I really like to see. When we get extended on the RSI, I like to see this. Propulsion candle, tiny move, propulsion candle, big, strong pushes, because then you need that big profit take, which obviously came straight back up into that gap, rejected, etc., etc. That's what I like to see, these big, strong pushes. As you can see, this one has been more grindy. So when you get these, you tend to get more of a grindy pullback and then potentially a grindy continuation. But again, this is all off the back of the Swiss franc weakness. And again, as soon as the Swiss franc kicks in, and it does kick in, you get this type of movement. Yeah, this is the elevator shaft you get. When the Swiss franc powers up, the Swiss franc will just destroy everything in its path, and that will come down at some point. So that's really nicely extended on the 4 hour, extended on the right side for trend as well, because we're short on the pound. So looking good. I like the look of that as a short. Obviously, we're at 125 ADR at the moment, and it doesn't make sense for it to turn here. It makes sense for it to turn up there around 150 ADR. So if we do get up to there today, that would be a really nice area to potentially look for shorts. New Zealand dollar Swiss. That's again pushed up. New Zealand, we got Aussie dollar Swiss has just hit 150 ADR as well. So again, I was just going to say the Aussie dollar Swiss and the New Zealand dollar Swiss, that's good timing, are virtually the same thing. So they're a bit like the NAS and the S&P. you'll see the same structure playing out on both of these pairs. The patterns and the price movement will be slightly different, but the actual structure that you see will be the same. So pick one or the other, Aussie dollar Swiss and New Zealand dollar Swiss. But at the moment, these are both powering up because of the Swiss franc weakness. US dollar Swiss has just hit as well. Still loads more Swissy weakness coming in. So all of these Swissies, really weakness there until we get some strength. Don't start to get into these. So some of these, like the US dollar Swiss that we just got the 150 alert on, it's a long way away. The reversal alert on it, so you can see it's just green candles all the way for the last hour or so. So you just need to wait for some market structure to change, some bearish price action to come in, and look for that M pattern formation. So some kind of pullback, little bit of a push up. It might take out the highs, might not. So you'll either get one of three things: an equal M, an uneven M, which is a stop hunt, or you'll get the M pattern where they pull back lower. One of those three patterns is what you're looking for. As soon as you get that starting to form, nice looking short, probably coming back down to somewhere around here, Asian high. But look at the gaps on the way up, especially that one. But that's obviously the support rectangle, so there is potential for a continuation bounce. I don't really want to be shorting the US dollar anyway, so that's not my favourite of the lot. Pound Swiss we just covered. New Zealand dollar Swiss we've covered. That's the same thing. New Zealand dollar yen. Again, yen pair, hit to the downside. I don't really want to be getting too much involved in opposite direction on the yen when it's this strong. And as I say, we've been waiting for this US dollar power up for ages, and now it's kicking in. So if you got into US dollar CAD this morning, remember we were talking about US dollar CAD longs. Excellent, well done. You're doing really well on that one. That was the double bottom we were looking at. That's played out absolutely beautifully. So if you got into that one, excellent. US dollar yen is the other one. So I thought I had the EA running on my US dollar CAD. Maybe I didn't. Let me just check on that. Didn't activate it. It's typical. Right, forget that. I should have got in that this morning. That's a schoolboy error. So I put the EA on there this morning to get into the long on M15. And I didn't activate the EA. I've got a sad face in the corner of my screen. So that's annoying. Never mind. Sorry, bear with me 1 second. Sorry about that. We've got heating problems at the moment. Heating problems, and also got a massive great hole in the back of the house, which is interesting. Obviously having new doors put in, bifold doors put in the back of our house. So we've not only got no heating downstairs, we've got the back of our house missing, which is not the ideal combination to have. Right, so so what was that? US dollar CAD. Yeah, so that's a really nice trade there this morning. If you took that one, it's half an ADR already played out. On that US dollar strength. As I say, we've been waiting for this US dollar strength to come through for ages. We looked at this one yesterday because we got extended on the hourly. We looked at it this morning, actually, I think as well, didn't we? So beautiful bounce, double bottom. Look to play it back up into the gaps. And potentially on this one, much higher over the next sort of week, few days. So that's all your ADR extensions. Quite a few opportunities there today. The main ones that are interesting to me are the Swissy ones, Aussie dollar Swiss, the CAD Swiss, and the pound Swiss. Okay, so those three particularly because we're expecting pound weakness, CAD weakness, and Aussie weakness continuation. And obviously the Swiss franc is the currency that tends to have money injected and extracted from it. And at the moment, we're seeing an extraction which makes it very weak. And then obviously when that reverses, as it tends to do, it will start to batter all the other pairs. And when you've got them so extended across multiple time frames on RSI, after i.e. we've had big strong pushes, and you got them hitting ADRs, it's kind of like the perfect storm. So that's all the ADRs. A few opportunities there. A few of them have already played out and hit targets if you took them. RSIs. Aussie dollar CAD. We got this nice rejection. We looked at this one this morning. Still extended. Obviously on the 4 hour, we got down to 80 pretty much, where we've pushed up, pulled back, and it looks like it's putting in a beautiful W at the moment. So this could well be the spot. Remember I said about this big gap. We have tested it already, which is where that buying momentum started from. This will act as a zone for potential buyers. But if we get a crack down below this level, obviously we will probably come back down to this accumulation and balance area down here and find the reaction there. So at the moment, this looks like a really nice long opportunity. You can see it obviously massively extended down here. And we could easily see a move like that coming back off of it. From a market structure perspective, obviously higher low, higher high. So that's looking good. Aussie dollar CAD. CAD Swiss, again, a lot of this is the same stuff as this morning, because we've had continuation pushes on the everything against the Swissy, because the Swissy is obviously still weak. So this is shot to bits, absolutely extended. We've had nothing but green candles for such a long time on this thing. Definitely ready for shorting. Levels to watch out for up here. So take the next reversal alert short on this one. Failing that, there's another entry there. We've got so much selling pressure here to basically get that pullback from. So if this does continue, easily get an A-shaped recovery out of this sort of move. But if it continues higher than that, obviously the faster and harder that drop is potentially going to be. So CAD Swiss, really, really good looking short opportunities on that one. Just see what my exposure is at the moment on the CAD and the Swiss. Yeah, I've just got one on each. So I might take a CAD Swiss. See. Sorry, one sec. I'm just looking at. Yeah. I might CAD Swiss. I might take a short on this one as well. I'm on the Euro Swiss already, with a couple of positions. Which is probably not going to get an entry on there on M15. So bear with me. Let me just look at where my... Yeah, so I'm going to get in CAD Swiss as well as a short. So initial entry there. When we get the next reversal out on M15. And look to play that one to the downside. Really, really nice gap on M15 here as well, which is like ADR and a half away. So loads and loads of room to the downside on that one. But yeah, really like look at that CAD Swiss. Really nicely extended now, and due a drop. The next one we got is Swiss yen. Again, Swiss yen, not really that interested in. This yen strength that we've got coming through at the moment, I don't really want to get in front of. And obviously the Swissy, I'm looking for power up on the Swiss franc. So this one is likely to go into a consolidation at some point shortly, I would imagine. So we'll see what happens with this yen. But as long as the US dollar is going to continue to push, which is what we're expecting, we'll probably see the yen to go with it as well. So I don't want to be taking long positions against the yen at the moment. Euro CAD. That one, obviously, on the 4 hour, we've come down, we filled the gap in. I'm not long in the euro at the moment, but this is a very nice buying area, which obviously is potentially where we'll get a little bit of a power up, but I can't see this really getting much higher than there and then dropping. So the support rectangle for market structure is there. We've got selling pressure there as well. So if the buyers can push back out of this zone, I don't think they're going to get further than there before we drop down. By the time we get back to this area as well, the 24 will have come back down onto price, and again act as a dynamic resistance like here to batter the price back down again. So I would expect a pullback on that and then a drop rather than I mean, you can play this obviously back up into there assuming it's going to happen, but obviously you're running the risk then of this just consolidating and dropping. So not the greatest opportunity the euro CAD for a long. Euro Swiss, same sort of thing. Euro Swissy, I'm already in short. This is just flying at the moment because of this Swiss franc. A lot weaker than I was expecting the Swissy, but you can never tell what's going to happen with the Swissy. That level there is where I suspect we're going to hit the next lot of selling pressure. If not, we're coming back up to here. And by that time, 72 will be coming down on top. We'll be embedded on H4, ready for the next move down. Pound Swiss. So the Pound Swiss, obviously, we just covered this one, haven't we, in ADR, because this is an ADR hit as well. Massively extended on M15, hourly, 4 hourly. I suspect we're nearly there on the daily. Yeah, we're nearly up to the 70s on the daily as well. This thing's been absolutely flying. Not had a rest, but has been fairly orderly in the way that it's moved. So it's a difficult one to call, this one. It's not my favourite Swiss pair. I'd much rather be short on the Euro Swiss than the Pound Swiss, but equally it is approaching a level right now that is of interest as a double top. Failing that, we've obviously got this level of potential resistance as well. So you get into a point where we've got some strong potential resistance coming up, and we will like a good short, very, very nicely extended. But I much rather be on the CAD Swiss or the Euro Swiss really at the moment. Pound New Zealand has just come off the highs. We looked at this one again this morning, didn't we? This is where I was looking at reaction here. I said about this big selling zone, which we tapped into. Got M pattern, it's coming down nicely. So again, US dollar strength continuation, that's filled. Forget that. This would be the next area I'll be looking at. But if the US dollar is not going to power up, and we're going to get just this chop that we've had on the US dollar continuing, there is a chance that we'll just get a pullback into the 24 and bounce off of there. So at the moment, short term, if you've got into this one, and you would have been in this one before now, well done. It's coming down very nicely today. So you could have got into this one anytime from kind of here. So you probably would have been out there anyway. But really, really starting to roll over now, you can see. We're getting to the point where it looks like it's tired and it just wants to come down and get some of these gaps filled. So good looking shorts on the pound US dollar. If you're not in it and you want to get in it, potentially in New York, we could get a pullback. So you could get into this, any pullbacks up into gaps. What's the time? past. Markets open. New Zealand dollar CAD. Again, New Zealand dollar CAD really extended. We were looking at this as the end of the move down. Does look like it's tapped into it. So again, difficult one to call. It could well be just doing a liquidity run down here. Anybody that's entered long, but we are in a downtrend. So it's difficult to call this one. Very, very, very extended. Worst case scenario, if this is going to continue short, it's going to need to pull back before it does so. This is the obvious level that we'll be looking at. Yeah, so something like a 38 to a 50 retracement, and then from there. So if you want to long it from here, obviously you can do. Long it up into there, but potentially better short at the moment. And that's it on the 4 hours. Hourly, all the same stuff. So if you look at the 4 hourly and the hourly, it's the same stuff lit up. The only things we've got different are US dollar Swiss and US dollar yen really there. US dollar Swiss obviously is on the Swiss franc weakness, US dollar strength. This one's obviously going tonto at the moment. So very, very nicely extended on the hourly, but I would only look for a pullback and then continuation long. And US dollar yen, that one obviously extended to 125 and has bounced off. But US dollar yen, not the best yen pair to trade. Beautiful rejection of the gap there and a bounce, but we are hitting selling pressure here as well. So US dollar yen is it's just a really hard thing to trade. Pound yen's just hit ADR as well. Shows the strength of that yen at the moment. More US dollar strength coming in the New York Open by the looks of things. But yeah, US dollar yen is a difficult one to trade because you quite often get these two moving in sync with each other. And when they do, you just end up with a consolidation really on the US dollar yen a lot of the time, and kind of a sideways choppy movement. So it's not my favorite pair really to trade. But this is a really, really nice support area that we're just tapping into at the moment. So we'll see what happens with that one. Right, so that's it for ADRs, RSI extensions. So there's not actually a lot different to this morning. Everything is kind of roughly in the same sort of spots as we had this morning. So let's have a look at where we are with the indices. Let's open up the NAS as well. So S&P, we are pulling back down again. We're on a down day at the moment. We've done virtually all the movement today already. So we had a slight move up this morning, and we've had a big down push today. So unless we're going to end up with one of these massive propulsion candles today, we're pretty much at the extent of where we would expect normally price to get from an ADR perspective. As you can see, we're at 125 ADR on the NAS at the moment. And on the S&P, we are approaching 125 ADR. We're just tapping into 125 ADR at the moment as well. So we've had a big down London session. So if we are going to get the reversal today, this is where we would expect to start seeing some buying pressure coming in at the 72. We do push down obviously beyond the 72 occasionally, but we're right there now. We've got this big gap here, which we are at. We've got the 72, which typically acts as a really good support as well. But failing that, obviously, we'll be coming back down to here. So this first sort of opening hour is going to be quite critical for the S&P to see what happens as to whether or not we're going to get a slight continuation downside again, or whether this is it and this is where we're going to bounce from. When we get the bounce, I suspect it's going to be fairly aggressive. So S&P still coming down in the New York Open. We'll drop down 5 minutes and monitor that one. See where we get to in the first 15 minutes. Aussie dollar yen has hit ADR as well. So still lots of yen strength coming through. The NAS, again, we've broken this level quite considerably. So we've smashed through this this bottom here. And we are hammering through it at the moment on the daily. Again, daily ranges, normal daily ranges, obviously you can see what we normally get on a day. This was an unexpected large move. We don't get moves that big very often. But again, today we are over ADR already at the New York Open. So it's unlikely we are going to continue to push down much further. But you never know. Who knows what's going on with the market? But this is where we would expect to start looking for long positions down here. So on a wider time scale on the NAS, this is the support resistance area that we would expect. So this is an area of balance and accumulation, consolidation before we broke out to the upside. We came back, retested that area and bounced. We pushed back through it, retested it and bounced, and then smashed through it there. So this whole zone here is a very strong level of support. We've also got a nice big propulsion gap there where the buyers stepped in to push price higher. We've got the 200 MA, which occasionally, if we do get past the 72, is what tends to act as support for the NAS. So it's all heading down to a support bounce down at this level. If we get down there, that is. So we'll see what happens over the next sort of hour, the opening, and see how far we get down. But this is an area where I'd start looking for long opportunities. Anybody got any questions on anything we covered so far in this morning or this afternoon from the RSIs and everything? Anybody got into any decent positions? Take any of those ADRs? Anybody short on the yen? Managed to bank anything? Really wish I'd have got in some yen last week, but I didn't. Got nice rejection going on the NAS at the moment down here. So initial push down, strong initial push down, starting to reject. S&P starting to reject, just taking another position down here on the S&P. Obviously, we're down in fairly uncharted territory on these two. So there's no real propulsion gap targets down here that we can really be aiming for. So the only thing you can really do when you're down in these lows that you don't get to very often is kind of flick out until you find some support. And obviously 72 is an area where we tend to get support, and this is where the nearest gap is on the 4-hour chart. So this is where we would expect the buying pressure to start to come in. So any signs of strength down at this zone, really. Other than that, we know we're going to break down lower, which would mean putting in a 225 ADR move, which is big. Would be a very big move for the indices, but we'll see. You never know. But at the moment, looks like sellers are struggling a little bit. Nice hammer. So if you're trading price action, pure price action, not using the reversal alert indicator, pending orders above, hammers, things like that. So as soon as you see some kind of price rejection, if you stick a pending order above there, if you are going to get the bottom, obviously that's where you would get in and play from there. Bear in mind we've just put a big gap in, so there's obviously a lot of selling pressure here. So we've got to break through this gap first of all. If we are going to make the move higher today. Good rejection wicks going in again on the S&P. NAS looks like it's fighting at the moment. So looking pretty bullish to start. We have got a break. We want to get a reversal alert, really, just to show some decent signs of strength. So if we can get a reversal alert today, also in the first sort of 15 minutes, 30 minutes, that would be really nice. You tend to find we get a big strong push and then a big strong rejection. So as soon as we've broken that high, the opening 5-minute range really, and retest that area, that's where we suspect we will get the reversal. So this would become your new low. and then market structure shift to the upside. But there's a lot of selling pressure so far today, obviously during London. So for price to actually break up and put a bullish candle in today, it's got to crack through all these sellers, which is a tricky day. So you may well find that all we managed to do today is kind of struggle back to Asian levels. But we'll see what the pressure's like. So far, 72 is holding on the S&P. I've got a buy stop here as well on the S&P and on the NAS. These are both based on M15. Should move that one up a little bit now. So these will be M15 reversals that I'll get into additional positions on. Obviously that just bring my average back down within an ADR. Probably not on the NAS, but still pushing down hard though at the moment. Okay, now showing more rejections on M5. One minute to candle close. If we can get bullish close on this, be a nice looking open. Not quite. What do we think is going to happen today then, guys? Who's got any thoughts on direction for the indices this afternoon? Have to say these are some of the biggest drops I've seen for a while in respect of strength of move. But if we can get 3 down days on the trot, we had a doji in here which kind of resets as such. So this is kind of 4 days down, which for the S&P really is all we ever tend to get. So it's a very strong bottom we're looking at the moment, but a couple of days of pushback is what we're after. More down moves and recover some around 1800. 1800? That's a collapse. NAS, obviously, this line I've got drawn in here. Let me just reset that actually. Make it the round number it should be. So where I've drawn the line in manually, obviously at this support resistance and accumulation, yeah, is actually the big round number, 15,000. So if we are coming tumbling down to the 15,000, that would be a really, really nice bounce point. If we don't turn there for any reason, I can't see why we wouldn't, but if we didn't turn there for any reason, we'll definitely get a bounce. Oh, time, not price, coming down to 1800, 6 o'clock. UK time? Where are we now? Yeah, 3 o'clock. That'd be a big old tumble today, wouldn't it? If we're going to continue down today for that amount of time. New Zealand dollar yen, 125. US index still pushing at the moment. It's having a little bit of a weakness right now at ADR. But still going strong. Probably see a bit of a consolidation start potentially now on that one. So those yen pairs, if you've got any profit on those yen pairs, might want to look at taking some, but we'll see. We do get 200 ADR days, so there's every chance we might get down there, but okay, S&P still pushing down. NAS, good rejection wicks here. We've got lovely upside wicks forming on the NAS. A lot of buyers coming in. Obviously, we're very extended on the RSI and the M5, but M5 RSI is a bit... I wouldn't pay too much attention to it. Okay, it's looking pretty bullish down there, so take a slightly larger position down there. So we've still got this area here to crack through on M5, big propulsion candle. So this is where the selling pressure started. We've got to crack that selling pressure before we actually get any confirmation of buying strength coming through. Obviously on the S&P, we need to break back above that low there. So 150 ADR, S&P, 125 on the NAS. Looks like it may be a support for the day. Let's see if we can hold this level. You're in New Zealand. So you're in New Zealand, obviously one I've got short on at the moment. Yesterday, we managed to crack back up and put another higher day in. We still didn't manage to get out of this high again. So we put in tweezer tops, or double top really, yesterday. And again, no real signs of strength or weakness so far today, but we are up at these highs, which we've been in for 4 weeks now, just over. So again, just looking to play this back down to the lows. So I've got a couple of positions on this one already. Swiss yen 175 ADR, still going. So yeah, just taking another position on that one. Sorry, no, I've just taken another position on Euro Swiss. Just going to get into one as well. Okay, S&P is coming down still, NAS is coming down still. Big old drops. Forever. What's that mean? NAS and S&P going to come down forever? That's the end of the world. Won't come down forever. Euro needs to come down. Okay, I'm going to give this one until just over 150 ADR. I'm just going to take a small loss on this if it pushes down. I don't want to get into drawdown. If we are going to continue down to this support, I don't really want to hold all of this down there. I'd rather just take a small loss on that position, just in case we do get a catastrophic drop. We're entering the 4600 level on the S&P. So this is a strong round number. Bang in the middle of that buy zone as well. So again, with that one, this is a slightly larger position. I'll take it off if we break that considerably, and then get back in when we get down to the lower levels. Gosh, massive move this, isn't it? So last time we challenged the 200 level was pre-COVID. Around there. Obviously we've got the bounce off the 200 before the drop, obviously, off of there, but so we are right at the limits of where we would typically get to if you look historically. So the furthest extension from the 72 we've had has been 70,000. And we are currently sitting at 63. So we may well make new lows, new dip record for the year. Not for the year, obviously for the last year. Easily the new dip record for the year, because we're only in the second week of the year, so that's obvious. Been in EN forever. Every time I think it's coming down, it goes back up to the high of that daily candle range. I know, it's a nightmare. Euro New Zealand's bizarre. There's a lot. There's a lot of rangy action at the moment. Yeah, this Euro New Zealand. But this is the area you want to be getting in aggressively on it. Up here, it's just it. The trouble with it is it will take you out. So if I was getting in aggressively on this one now, I'd be looking at the high of the day. Assume that the high of the day is done. So where we hit that Asian high, look for bearish price action. Assume we're going like that, and stop up there. But it's a bit far away for a stop for an aggressive position. But some pairs do this to you. Some pairs just get horrible and rangy and at exactly the point where you need to be playing in the opposite direction. It's just annoying, but it definitely doesn't want to go high. As soon as we put a new high in, every time we put a new high in, we get a big bearish move out of it. And we've now just broken these lows today. So we're at a 3-day low. I would say this is much more likely to be a pullback style move. But you never know. H1, we got a load of RSI hits. There's the NAS over there, wasn't it? Stick the NAS back over there. Keep an eye on that. So RSI extensions, Swiss yen, 175 ADR. So we just filled that gap on the hourly. We are now below the 20 level. We're almost at 15. So that is a big strong move. So big Swissy weakness, big yen strength. Euro Swiss, exactly the same story. Massive Swissy weakness, pushing up into this area of resistance with this gap to fill. Euro yen, obviously getting tanked on the yen strength. Pound Swiss flying off the Swissy weakness still. 3-bar reversal potentially going in here now. So we've had the big strong push, the doji. Now we are starting to see some bearish price action. So keep an eye on that one. Pound Swiss, very nicely extended. Got this gap here. Need to crack this, crack down below there. But that's starting to come and roll over very nicely now. Pound Swiss for short. New Zealand dollar yen. Hammered. And US dollar Swiss obviously will be flying. So 150 ADR on that one. 75 ADR RSI extension. Again, worst case scenario on this one, you're going to get a pullback, aren't you? Pull back into the gap. And put a fib on there. That'll be 50% retracement. So that would be the ideal spot, or yesterday's high for a pullback. If you want to play a pullback, I'd much rather play along from there, really. NAS, I'm about to get stopped out on that one by the looks of things. S&P just have got stopped out. Still coming down. I think we'll let these just keep on pushing until we get into the positions lower down. These limit orders down the bottom here. I'm not sure I'm going to get down there today though. It seems an awful long way to go in one day. Is there some news driving the S&P or the NAS down? No. No news. just price action. So normalizing the balance sheet could be gradual, blah, blah, blah. No, just normal price action, basically. Say normal price action, it's not normal price action, it's just price action. Abnormal price action, much, much, much stronger than usual. So we've had some decent rejections up here, but S&P, since we've opened, we've had no green candles whatsoever. So solid selling pressure all the way on the S&P. Got a good couple of gaps formed. So if you're when you get into these sorts of situations, obviously where you've got such a long way to go to get a reversal. Obviously, I've got a couple of positions on already around where we would get a reversal alert there. If you want to get in more aggressively, it's literally just a case of waiting for price action. So as soon as we get first bullish engulfing candle or a decent looking hammer in this case, that would be the time to get into additional positions, because we've had a big strong open here. We're way away from reversal alert territory. So if you did want to get into another additional, obviously that is where you can do it. The other alternative, obviously, if you're super aggressive, dropping down to M1 and looking for entries on M1. Especially when we get down to these sorts of levels, 200%, 225% ADR moves on the NAS and the S&P are not normal. So when we get down to these levels, you know that at some point we are going to get some kind of spring back. And typically before price does a reversal or a pullback, it tends to reach for levels. So they will squeeze out all the longs, like me. You just saw me get into a long. I got squeezed out, stopped. Yeah, so just squeeze out all the longs. When all the longs have gone, they just flick about the opposite direction. These are the types of days where we see these V-shaped recoveries coming in. Like now with bullish price action. If you're getting in long, obviously areas to be aware of on the way up. You can see obviously the London low is where we initially broke down on both of these. Euro Swiss ADR still pushing higher. So this is the area. So reversal alert and gap to break through. If we can crack through that level, you'll be off. So let's see if we can get some bullish price action down here. Okay, reversal alert on M1. Bullish engulfing, hopefully closing on both of these. Got 2 minutes left on these candles. Okay, so we seem to be getting some decent bullish price action now on the S&P. The NAS is still struggling a little bit at the moment. Still not quite able to get bullish engulfing. Obviously, we haven't closed these candles yet. So, obviously, whenever we see the first signs of bullish price action, does not mean this is going to be the bottom. This is quite potentially just about got a bullish engulfing there. This is potentially an initial small profit take for a continuation down. So we need these lows to remain intact. Ideally, just to show that we've got still some bullish momentum. NAS hasn't really managed to get bullish engulfing. We've still got an inside bar over there. So very, very weak buying. We'll see if it continues. Okay, so this is the bullish candle that we had on the minute. Just retesting that area at the moment. See if that holds. Okay, broke down again, so I need a bull candle here. Otherwise, looks like we may well be continuing down a bit further today. Gosh, relentless, isn't it? 150 ADR on the NAS, 200 ADR on the S&P. That's a big down day. Big down day. Somebody's getting kicked out of the live stream. It's probably not the stream doing that. It's probably your end if you're getting disconnected. Okay, 200 ADR on the S&P. We are holding by the looks of things down there. Or is this my platform frozen? This looks like MT4's frozen. Weird. There we go. Got a bit of a gap there. That was MT4 lock up by the looks of things. So we have cracked down through that 200 level on the S&P as well. Still going on the NAS. So that was a small profit take basically. Where do we think this is going then, guys? So this will be kind of 4 down days on the trot. So looking back over the previous, last time we had 4 down days, probably there, which was October time. Had a pullback in there, then a little bit more of a drop before a push. So 3 down days there before we restarted. 4 down days has not happened for a long time. So big move for the S&P. So we'll see if we get a 100% retracement on this move. So obviously the Santa rally started when we cracked back down to the 72. And then we had a big 5-day rally, well, 4-day rally. So potential, obviously, where we got to from a close perspective on that pullback is first real area which will get tested, and then potentially obviously the low before that rally. But obviously if we do the low, we're putting in a double bottom. If we test this area here, we are maintaining market structure. So this area here is really the key area we'd want to see holding up. I'm just going to put my buy a little bit higher actually, just so I get triggered in there. Just mark that area. So that area in there, which is just above this where the buying pressure started. Oops. It's going to need to be a pretty strong day to get down there, though, I think. I think 14,900 on the US 100. Yeah, well, 1,500. Yeah, I mean, this the 200 MA is this area here is where the buying pressure started. So that's where we're going to find buyers definitely, which coincides with the 200, which is typically what we see acting as support after the 72. So 1500 bounce or thereabouts. Not a lot you can do in these big sell-off days, really. But sit and wait, really, for the bounces. So if it continues to sell, it continues to sell. Swiss franc is still pushing, although we are showing some signs of weakness starting to come in now on the Swissies. It is still pushing up though at the moment on this M15 candle, but we are starting to see some selling pressure starting to come in now, as you would expect after a move that strong coming out of London and continuation into New York. But obviously, you know, we see 200% ADRs hit, so there is still much more upside if the Swiss is going to continue to be weak today. CAD Swiss is starting to roll over. Swiss yen is also starting to bottom out, so there is a little bit of strength starting to show from the Swissy. What's the rest of the euros up to? Yeah, euros are starting. Euro pound's doing okay. Yeah, we've got some potentially seeing US dollar weakness starting to creep in as well, but be looking at this area potentially for the bounce. Okay, so 200 ADR is holding at the moment. Be nice if we get a if we can get down to here, down to the 1500 round number, and we get a really nice looking bounce off of this. Be a really good area to start to pile in with some aggressive lot sizing, and obviously using a stop, but good area to start getting in with some decent positions. Likely to be around about the bottom down there if it gets there. It's got doji going in on the 15 minute on the S&P. So nice equilibrium being found there. See if we can get starts of a 3-bar reversal with some bullish price action in the next 15 minutes. NAS though, still not happy. Well, it's starting to bottom out. Come on, where's all these buyers? Those wicks to the upside, look. Still a lot of selling pressure coming in. Certainly a good squeeze at the minute. Okay, so where we've tapped into here, 45.80 level is where we were rejected previously. So this is an area of interest. Markets looked at before and reacted to multiple times before. So this could be a decent area for a pump. Obviously dependent on whether this is where we're going to end. We're either going to put a move like that in or carry on to the upside from here, but we'll see. Retracement wise, we're way beyond the 61.8 level from this initial move. Let's have a look at the larger move. Still way beyond the larger move as well. So at that point, you can throw your fib out the window. One of the reasons I don't use fibs, a lot of people use fibs a lot, and they base a lot of their entries on fibs. That's a reason why I don't use fibs, because they are an area. They're really useful for seeing areas. If you're going to get a continuation in price action, they do work. But when I was trying to trade with fibs, as a strategy or a system, if you like, they failed more than they worked. So I think they're useful for a measurement tool for take profits, and potentially if you think you're in a strong trend for entering additional positions. But as soon as they get invalidated past the 61.8 level, you're either going to get a double bottom or you're not. So they kind of become a little bit useless, really. So take the clutter off your chart. We've got a good potential reversal happening at the minute. This isn't a gap. This is where my platform froze. My other platforms didn't freeze. It's just this MT4 for some reason. So we need to still get a reversal alert on M5. We haven't had one yet. So there's no real signs of strength coming through. We're getting closer though. Let's have a look and see what the client sentiment is on the S&P at the minute. I don't think we've got S&P. We've got Wall Street. Yes, we have US 500. There we go. So, IG's customers are undecided at the moment. Very undecided. So there's a few more shorts coming in, but also a few more longs. So no real directional bias for IG customers. Just starting to tick up on the RSI on M5, so there's definite strength coming through, but nothing there. US 30 is flat as well. Indecision, basically. Nobody's entering more longs or more shorts at all. So I've had the reversal alert. Obviously we had one before where I got into there. So we're just about to get the retest. Not quite. Just about to get the retest in a minute on M1, which is your potential W pattern reversal. But NAS is coming down hard again. Okay, there's the retest on 1 minute. Just about to go in now. So signs of strength coming through on the S&P. There's your retest. So lots of levels to get through. If this is going to be the start of the buying pressure, NAS is doing the same. Okay, if this is going to be the bottom, just going to move that down a little bit, just in case we, if this is going to reverse, just in case we do, just quickly stop around that level. Always give you trades. If you're going to use a stop, always want to leave a little bit of a leeway. Give the trade room to breathe. US dollar CAD just starting to run out of steam up there. If you took that US dollar CAD this morning, it's looking like it's starting to get a bit heavy. Nice stop hunt of the London lows on the Aussie CAD. It's kind of slowed down now though. How's these Swissies doing? Okay, Euro Swiss, big rejection on M5 starting. We just had a big strong push down, just taking out the highs again. Going to get into another position there on Euro Swiss if we start to reverse. CAD Swiss is obviously coming down already, as is the Aussie. And the pound's just starting to roll over as well. Nice consolidation in the London session at the moment on that. I haven't had a reversal alert on M5, but it's not got far to go. Just that, it's a shame we just didn't get that little push up to this high. That would have made that double top. Still room, but again, double tops don't have to be to the pip. It's an area, 5 pips in the grand scheme of things doesn't mean anything. So this could be it for the pound Swiss. If you're looking to get in the pound Swiss short, it's absolutely exhausted on the 4 hourly and the hourly. Lovely 3-bar reversal pattern starting there. How long have we got left of this candle? Another half an hour, another 25 minutes. If we can get a decent bearish price action on this, you're not quite going to get the reversal alert, but if you can get a 3-bar reversal, that'd be really good, short. Prefer to see those patterns on the 4 hour. They work very well on the 4 hour, but So NAS still holding up down there, look. And the S&P still holding. M1 just can't quite get that retest. New low just gone in on the NAS. It's going to take me out again at 175 ADR by the looks of things. Relentless. Okay, these it's taken out again on that NAS. So with these ones, basically looks like we're just going to continue to push down at the moment during New York. I'm not going to try to get into any more positions on these. So I've got the EA running on these, running on M15. So that's just going to get me in on any new reversal alerts that we get. So I'm just going to let that continue to long on M15. We haven't had one today, obviously, because we just come down today. So I'll get into another position as soon as we get some bullish price action coming in, a reversal alert on there. If we do crack down to this 1500 level today, which is going to be a long way for the NAS, 225 ADR is a big push. So that's going to be sort of, in effect, really 5 down days on the trot. We had a little bit of a pullback and a pause bar in the middle there, but this will be another big down day for the NAS. So want to scale in again when we get back down there and then reevaluate when we get the next day into tomorrow. If we do get down there today into tomorrow, we'll definitely be looking for some bullish price action at the back of this. So we'll be down at the 200. We'll be down at the 1500 big round number support, which has obviously been good support resistance in the past as well. So really good looking buy zone down here. Just waiting for some bullish price action. But if we do get bullish price action, obviously I'm going to get in anyway. And obviously we've got positions long on it at the moment. So same with the S&P. S&P, I have a position at these lows, just above these lows. So we've tapped the 72 again. Obviously we quite often tap the 72 and pull back out. So if that is what we're going to see, we should see, as with the NAS, some bullish price action coming in tomorrow. But it looks like it's potentially going to settle as a down day today. Maybe a rotational day. It's going to have to be a hell of a rotational day. It's going to have to do a V-shaped recovery on this entire move towards the end of New York, which isn't unheard of, but tough going to get that much volume coming through it. So we'll see. But that's where I'm going to leave it today. So I've got those set up ready to get into extra positions. As I say, the EA is going to be trading on M15 on both of these for me, taking the next long positions. This one's not going to get one. Not going to get one on here because I've already got positions on. Reversal alerts all the way up there because it's been such a big strong move. But here on the NAS, I'll be getting into an additional there. So see what we do with the price action this afternoon. But at the moment, it looks like we're just still wanting to push a little bit lower. Okay, anybody got any other questions or anything else they want to look at? Euro New Zealand is back at that daily candle high again, is it? Already. Blimey, yeah. Yeah. Strong moves on the euro at the moment. Forgetting, obviously, what's going on with the US dollar at the minute and the yen. But euro New Zealand, obviously, is pushing up well. Euro pound, again, pushing up well. Euro Swiss, obviously, that's to do with the Swiss franc. Euro CAD. So, yeah, big moves from the euro again today. There's nothing in the news about the Eurozone, anything positive in the Eurozone. We've got Lagarde speaking on Friday, but there's no economic news about euro strength. There's obviously lots of other news about other currencies, but there's nothing on the euro that says that the euro should be strengthening up in any way, shape or form. So uncharacteristically strong at the moment, but any currency that starts to power up will push that one back down. But you see the pound today, pound's having a pretty good day, obviously, forget the Swiss, fairly strong against anything that isn't pushing hard. And if you look at the euro pound is pushing as well. So the euro is actually stronger than the pound today. And obviously that is unusual to have that much strength going into the euro. But I suspect it's to do with the Swiss franc moves. So it's the Swiss franc, the yen and the US which have all been on the move today. But obviously what goes up must come down and vice versa. So we'll wait for those moves to start to unravel. Okay, right, I'm going to call it a day there. So if there's anything else you need, come into the Telegram group. I'm holding Aussie dollar CAD long, Euro Swiss short, Euro New Zealand short, and Pound New Zealand short. And obviously the S&P and the NAS I'm long on. So nothing to bank today, unfortunately. Everything's still in squeeze mode, especially with these Swissies. Not the CAD Swiss, but the Euro Swiss. Really big, strong move on that one. But I've got a sell stop set on M5 on that. As soon as we get that reversal alert, I should be popping another position onto that one. The EA is also monitoring that on M15, but that's going to be probably too close to previous position. It might not be now, actually. I'll monitor that one. Okay, so I'll call it a day there. If you need anything else, let me know. As I say, come into the Telegram group, and I will be back 8:30 tomorrow morning, same time. Just have a look at the London session. Hopefully, have a good afternoon. If you're getting long on these, fingers crossed we get some bounce back at some point today. If not, though, don't worry too much because this thing cannot come down forever. It's going to bounce at some point soon. So we'll be jumping on it and making the money when the pullback starts. All right. Anything else you need, let me know. Otherwise, have a good afternoon, everyone. And I will see you tomorrow morning, 8:30.